All right. Hey, everybody. We are back again with Tales from the Long Box. I am Wes.
And I am Chris.
And we are
Last Bastion Studios.
So again, we have a very special guest with us today, Miss Leah Novak, Miss Born Rad herself, pin queen, editor, designer, art curator,
comic book letterist,
just fun person in general. So, hey guys, what do you know about Epix Comics by Marvel?
Everything I know about Epix Comics, I learned from Wes.
Well, so yeah, Epix. Well, so then let me tell you a little bit about Epix, which the very basics are Epix was a line that was started in the early 80s by Jim Shooter at Marvel as a way to keep top talent at the industry. They had creators issues that had creators' rights, so they had some ownership and royalties, and they were able to do much more adult stories. It was generally printed on better paper, and so you get really awesome things like the Silver Surfer Parable that Stan Lee did with Mobius. You get Pat Mills and Kevin O'Neill coming together to do martial law.
Let's go back to the
You've got Rick Veitch, who did The One, who he eventually goes on to print under his own King Hell label. And you've got one of my own personal favorites, the only colorized Akira that is ever been made. But we aren't actually here to talk about any of these.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
Not the Mobius?
Not the Mobius. Okay. As great as the Mobius is. What we're here to talk about is a little series Marvel did in the 2000s.
Oh my god! So, wait, hold on. This is
trouble.
Marvel did this.
Marvel did this. You can see the Marvel and the Epics and all that other stuff. So again, I take you back to the fact that Marvel had their Epic line as a way to entice top-tier creators to stick around, do more adult-style stories, and so on and so forth. In the 2000s, it was less about seemingly about original creator stuff and more about more adult tales in the Marvel Universe. Actually, Elektra Assassin is a Marvel epic story as well.
Okay.
But this particular one came out in the early 2000s. This is done by Mark Millar, or Mark Millar, depending on how you want to say it, and the Dodsons, Terry and Rachel. So the art is automatically gorgeous, but this is not something a guy like myself is easily going to go in and buy from.
I have already a hard time believing that this is Marvel that produced with covers like these, man.
It's so jailbaity.
Someone let their son or somebody, there's some nepotism here going on with these covers.
Something got away from somebody.
It's very...
Is it a Delia's catalog?
It's very weird, and it's actually very off-putting.
Yeah. Honestly. It's uncomfortable, man.
It makes me not want to read.
I don't even like that. What is happening?
This is...
I gotta tell you a secret.
Yeah, this
is... But you might not like it.
This right here...
Yeah.
These right here are the covers for issue 1.
Yeah, very low.
These are the only covers, by the way. This is the only alternate cover, the only one that is got some actual art on it. That is Michael Cho. Gorgeous cover, but even this is very super evocative and suggestive.
Yeah.
And a whole lot. There were emails, there were decisions, there were photo shoots,
there
was approvals for all of this. This is issue 1. This is your leading off on the
People
comic
were
rack.
afraid to come into work and be late and not do their job and get fired.
I feel like these girls couldn't even read these comics.
So I went into this cold. I didn't actually know what the story was. I just was like, okay, I'm going to read it. I don't know what the deal is. I like Mark Millar as a writer, and the Dodsons make great art. And despite the disturbing covers, I'm going to give this a shot. Went into it cold, didn't know what I was getting into. So they don't give you a lot of clues. It actually took me a little bit reading into it to figure out, like, okay, this is set in the past. Like, it looks sort of modern in that people are just driving cool cars, but it's set in like in the 70s, and it's supposed to be like an updated origin on Spider-Man, right?
Wait. Trouble is a Spider-Man comic?
Yes, this is a Spider-Man comic. Also, props to putting in the credits, like building it into the ads.
That is not Paul Rudd, everybody.
You know? So here is the gist. Ben Parker and Richard Parker of Peter Parker's family fame, and May and Mary, his mother, and Aunt May, his famous Aunt May. By the way, Tomb Raider.
I mean,
oh my
got
god,
milk.
with the got
this,
milk.
This helps puts a mark
Good
on when this
timestamp on
came
it.
out.
Yep.
But again, beautiful art, well done,
Great colors.
well done colors. But the general gist is Richard and his brother decide that they're going to go work at a resort. May and Mary decide that they are also going to go work at this resort. And their whole idea is to really just go make some money, have some fun, meet some boys, and have a little fling before they run off to college. So they go to this place, and it's a lot more work than they thought it was going to be. And they end up meeting Richard and Ben. Okay? And then things get kind of interesting. So it turns out Aunt May is kind of a hoe bag. Like, that's how they portray her in this. She's very sexual. She hooks up with all kinds of dudes.
She just likes to have some fun.
She's out for
Girl about
sex
town.
and getting laid while
That's all right.
hey, you know,
I do like this kind of like nouveau.
Oh yeah.
Like the shadows with
the purples and
yes,
the blues.
all of it.
Well, what's really
It's
going
scandalous.
on here? What's really going on here is it's a melodrama. It's a melodrama about Aunt May.
Boom.
I do like
Yep,
that.
face
him
it, Tiger.
Tiger.
You just hit the jackpot. They draw a lot of parallels between Aunt May and Mary Jane.
Yes, they do.
Let's go to the next issue.
Part 2 of 5.
So there's a lot, like I said, people, there's some disturbing covers here. So Aunt May is now hooking up with Ben, of famous Ben. She's sleeping with him, but Ben's kind of a shy guy, whereas Richard, his little brother, is actually the daddy's favorite, and he's really the cocksmith around town. He's the dude, while Mary is the prudish one, when naturally it should have been them two hooking up like that. But it didn't quite work out that way. She's trying to hook up with Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben's not really getting the job done in this comic. Like, there's a lot of like melodramatic stuff going on in the bedroom. They're hooking up when there's like a specific rule at the resort about you can't be hooking up. Mary is actually not hooking up. She's holding out on Richard, who's I said, the cocksmith around town. And May's not satisfied. So you know, May's actually out playing strip poker, hooking up with people on the side. They decide to go out in town and pretend like they're rich people and make people
like 90
serve
degrees
them
outside.
and stuff like that.
Sun, sand, and fur coats.
Yeah, so they're doing sort of dickish stuff, taking cars out for a test drive, and like I said, it's set in like the 70s. They're mentioning Nixon, or like 60s and 70s. They're mentioning Nixon and stuff like that.
Troll dolls.
So you can kind of figure out where it's at when they're talking like different parts of like the storyline and stuff. But May gets into it with a guest who's rich and knows what she's doing, and kind of calls her a tramp, and she's almost going to get fired. And guess what? The cocksmith goes to comfort Aunt May. And so now May starts hooking up.
That's what we're talking about.
With both the brothers, Richard and Ben. So like I said, it's very much a lot of like melodrama from these like 17, 18-year-old Aunt May, Ben, Mary. And so now she's hooking up with them right away. this dude, Uncle Ben, thinks he's in love. He thinks things are going great. Meanwhile,
you silly little...
Aunt May is now ducking out on Uncle Ben and everything. Also, she can go hook up with her dude, and she doesn't know that she's... So Aunt May's really sort of stabbing a lot of people in the back and being, like I
What
said...
happened, Aunt May?
Like,
What's
she's,
going
like
on,
I
man?
said, she's being, if you will, a hoe bag.
Everybody heard.
Soiling her royal oats.
Just sowing her wild oats and not really caring if people get hurt in the process. That's all.
She thinks she herself is her.
And so now Ben goes to defend his honor.
In the turlet.
You get the toilet.
But gets his ass kicked. And you find out that Ben is actually sterile and can't have a kid because he's had his ass kicked so much and his nuts stomped in that he's had to go to the hospital.
Holy cheese.
So there's a lot of things going on where people almost catch each other. And like I said, melodrama. This is a comic that is all melodrama. Okay? And people cheating on each other. So this is already kind of like very, here's Aunt May playing strip poker with a whole group of dudes. And guess what? Aunt May finds out that she is pregnant.
Oh, no.
And she has no idea whose it is.
Dun, dun, dun.
And
Trouble.
So, like I said, trouble.
trouble.
So she's now pregnant. She's feeling morning sickness. She doesn't know what to do. Her father is a super religious man. Mm-hmm. He's going to beat her. He's going to do all these terrible things. She's at a weird crossroads. Now, Mary goes to hook up with Richard, the cocksmith. She's ready because the main reason she was holding out is she was given a fortune from a fortune teller that said if she had sex, she would end up being a mom and wouldn't go off to college. And May was going to never be called a mother and so on and so forth. There's like a weird fortune that's happening. So Mary's rocking his world, making him he's worn out. He is worn.
I like the stirring of the eggs.
Yes.
Right?
And then Wolverine.
Yeah. He busted the door.
You gotta get the ads in, right? And so here comes Mary. Mary's now pregnant. She's trying to get a little talking. He's going, "Oh, great, it's not me. No, I'm good." He's sort of being a little dick, glad that they're not sort of serious because, it's good we're not actually, it's good we're ending this. She tells Ben that she's pregnant. Oh no. Ben's sterile. Boom.
Dun, dun, dun.
So now he knows you have clearly been sleeping around. And now he wants to leave. He's done with this relationship. Now he finds out it's his brother that did it.
Man.
His brother's sad.
It just happened.
So he insults him and he walks out anyways. May's still pregnant. She doesn't know what to do. So May is having a crisis of conscience, doesn't know what to say.
Planned Parenthood.
She ends up writing a letter and basically running off. Just taking off and confessing things to Mary and taking off. She meets some rando dude on the road.
Station Wagon John.
And jumps in his car.
Was that Burt Reynolds? Was that
you'll see
the
him,
bandit?
You'll see
I
him
think
in the
that was
next,
Burt Reynolds.
You'll definitely see
So
him
there's
in
five
the next issue.
now, right?
This is the last of this series. And this is where things get really wacky. It's very daring. She's clearly
with Burt Reynolds.
sleeping with Burt Reynolds and sleeping for home and board and has run off and is not telling him that she's pregnant, but she's worried that he's gonna figure it out real soon.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
Come on, Bert.
Yep, she's checking herself in the mirror.
I'm just eating too many cheeseburgers.
Right, she's trying to call a friend. Mary comes to help her, even though she's like, all right, let's figure out, what are we gonna do? Are we taking you to get an abortion? Like, what's happening? And they come up with a scheme. And that scheme, my friend, is that Aunt May is going to have the kid. Mary and May are going to disappear together while Aunt May has the kid. And they're both going to return at the same time, but Mary's going to be the one returning with the child to blackmail Richard into doing
Hello, Richie.
the right thing, marrying her and raising him. Now, it's still Richard's kid.
Yeah.
But it's technically his kid with Aunt May.
Yeah.
It's just that Mary has blackmailed him into doing the right thing. He agrees because he's in front of his dad. She recovers, and now she can come home and pretend to her family that all she did was run off for a while, even though they know deep down, no, that's really probably her kid. Eventually, she's let back in to sort of this hellish life where whatever, at least they don't know she had a kid. But now she's got sort of like a nothing job. She runs into Ben later on at a party, tries to talk to her about things. She sort of cuts it off, you know, and they don't want to acknowledge it because that's little Peter over there.
Oh, snap.
With Richard and Mary.
This is such a bananas series.
Oh, yeah.
What a weird...
Oh, yeah.
It's really cool.
And it ends on Ben still having feelings for May and giving her his phone number, even though...
Look at how matronly she looks now.
Even though he just ran off...
fun?
Even though he just ran off with a nice gal at the wedding there. At the party. So, that, my friend... is my Marvel Epics treat.
Yeah. Just ignore the covers.
Yeah.
It's a cool story.
Trouble. Now
It's a fun, cheeky story.
There are some collected editions where it's two of the characters kissing and it's like a cut from one of the issues on the inside. But I seriously doubt in those collections that these covers are collected with it.
Oh my god. Yeah.
At least I hope they're not.
This is definitely interesting what like all these publishers actually...
What an interesting find.
This
Lolita.
is definitely...
We got Lolita right there. This hurts.
What,
These two right here hurt.
It's
they
just
hurt.
so uncomfortable.
was this around the time when like the Paris Hilton and was it Nicole Richie were
yep.
very popular?
It pretty close because let's see, 2000. This was 2003.
I think so.
Oh yeah, then it's like my
I just turned 20, so yeah. So that's probably what they were going for.
Everybody was wearing Von Dutch hats.
That's hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, thank you guys for being here with me, checking out Trouble from Marvel. Might I say it again? Marvel.
Don't get into trouble while reading Trouble.
Don't get into trouble buying these covers. Don't let people suggest things about you. So. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys.
Bye.